Welcome back to the show, guys. Today we have a special guest. This man, I've been talking to him for I feel like it's been close to a year or something. He had a we had scheduled like an in-person interview when he came down to visit. He went to Disneyland. Shout out Disneyland, not really, but but
Yeah.
it didn't work out that way. But now we got him today. We're doing it virtually. I started doing virtual podcasts. Welcome to the show, my man Myke Lujan. How do you pronounce that? Did I pronounce that right?
It's Lujan.
Lujan.
Yeah.
Myke Lujan. Woo, Myke Lujan. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, man, great to be here, man. Thank you for having me. I respect the show a lot. You've had some really cool, serious guests on here. I'm honored to be here, man.
Dude, I'm just the guy with the microphone, dog.
That's amazing, man.
Mike, is that how you actually spell your name? Myk?
Yeah, my dad is the one that, I was there, but I don't know the whole story. But he says that he wanted to spell it differently because my mom always wanted a boy named Michael, and that
Yeah.
was my dad's name. And he didn't want me to feel like I was growing up in his shadow too much. And he said, I'm going to spell it differently so that you're not mine. And then my actual name is spelled Mychal. And he kind of had it so it's like my call, and it'll always be my call in life. That's what he says.
Wow, that's crazy. What
Yeah, he
is
kind of condemned me to be an asshole on that one.
it's good for like job interviews, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely a conversation starter.
Yeah. All right, Mike. So, you want to get into a little bit about you? I have some stuff that I wrote down. I know you're a veteran. I believe you were in Afghanistan for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You're also a fighter, or you were a fighter. I don't know if you're still currently fighting. Uh, I believe you fought only in Muay Thai. And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, yeah, it was only a Muay Thai. I had an MMA fight scheduled, but dude got hurt week of the fight. You know how that goes. Sometimes you just get dinged up, and we didn't get to run that one.
Yeah, and I think you have a BJJ competition coming up soon, right?
I'm honest. I just did one for Daniel Compton out at it's a Central Coast Fighting Championship. I did that out in January, I think, and then
Oh,
I'm trying to get on Arte Suave here in March in Visalia.
got you. Okay. Yeah, so Mike, dude, I guess we'll start with dude, you're a veteran, man. What's that like, man?
That's going to be a different experience for everyone, and I kind of figured that out when I was in. There's some people that really buy into it, and I don't mean buy into it like it's some fake shit, but like there's people who really they feel it, they get behind it, and then there's others who are like, dude, I just want to get the out of here,
Yeah.
So for me, it was one of those things where I kind of joined, and it wasn't the like purest intention of I want to go serve the country and stuff. I was kind of at a weird point, and me and my dad had a conversation where he was like, "Look, dude, you don't like to work." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "You didn't like college, no." He said, "But you like to work out." That I do. He said, "You might want to go to the military, man. They'll pay you to do that." Like
Among other things, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so that's how that started. It wasn't the most noble of causes at the start. But then once I got into it, I started to realize, man, I like this. This is kind of who I am. I felt like this was who I was meant to be. I'll make the joke a lot and I'll tell people that I am the living embodiment of King Leonidas. And that is very funny to say, but like that's kind of how I felt when I was in the military. Like I bought into it just like a Spartan would have.
And how old were you when you joined?
I was 19 when I joined, and then during basic training, I turned 20.
Oh, okay, so 19. So you did 4 years, I'm assuming.
Yeah, the basic contract I was able to do, and then I got a little dinged up and wasn't able to reenlist.
How'd you? What was the ding up?
I just like a little normal wear and tear from being in the army. You wear a lot of heavy stuff, you do a lot of ruck marching, and that's not exactly the most ergonomically best thing for your body. And then just certain dust ups happens on a deployment that'll lead to getting dinged up and then not being able to reenlist.
Yeah. So was I correct? Were you in Afghanistan?
Yeah, I was. I was there from 12 to 13.
Did you see any action, dog?
Yeah, I have. I have. It's not like I don't want to make it sound like I'm a super soldier. I don't want to make it sound like I've been out there and seen the worst of the worst because like the the more you talk to people, you'll find out that like your idea of the worst might have been their good morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've been there. I have a combat infantryman's badge, which is it's your CIB. and you have to have gotten into a firefight and returned fire with the enemy to get it. I do
Wow,
have it.
that's crazy. What was that like?
It's. I mean, that again is probably going to be different for everybody because that's one of those things where everybody it's like when you get punched in the face the first time,
Hmm.
what you thought you were going to do doesn't matter no more. Now it's what happens. So like there's a lot of people that in theory they'll tell you I want to go do that and I want to be in that moment, but when that moment comes, you don't know if you're always meant for it. And luckily I was one of those guys that just responded and
Yeah,
just did what like it wasn't. I don't want to make it sound like it was me. Like we were trained very well, and when you're trained very well and that repetitively, it's just like when you're in a fight and all of a sudden you're slipping a punch and you're popping that dude back. It's just been at a certain point it is you, but it's reaction as well off the training you've done. And luckily, I just snapped into that.
yeah. Training takes over. That's a good point.
Hmm.
That's a good way to word it.
Hmm.
But on a way more stressful environment, I guess.
Yeah, definitely some stress in that one.
So did you serve before you fought, or was that after? Or
No, definitely. Well, it was after in the sense of like me fighting here in California. Now there is a gym. I should not tell my story without talking about Dwayne Taylor out there in
bring it back, bro. Bring it back. Dwayne Taylor. Let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah, he's out in Georgia. Last time I heard of him, he's an old Marine vet too. This dude, man, he taught some fighters out there, man. He got a bunch of us Army boys together and put us in a gym and just let us tear up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I started kind of fighting with him in the military a little bit, but there's a lot of where I was at Fort Stewart, and
Uh-huh.
we were a mechanized unit at first, so we did what was called a gunnery, and I was out in the field for like 30 days at a time, so it was hard to train like that. But yeah, I guess I started training in the military, but didn't fight until after.
Yeah. Do you feel like the training in the Muay or training just combat sports in the military? Do you think it's enough preparation to fight outside the military?
That, that's a good question, man. And that's gonna honestly, like, a lot of people will shit on other MOSs and this and that, or MOS is like your job title in the military, or at least
Okay.
in the army.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people will shit on like, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. We're not gonna talk about that. But when it comes to training in the military, a lot of times it's not even gonna be whether it was good or bad. It's gonna be how much time you had to do it.
Yeah.
Like with my job, I was in the field. Like when we went on like a training cycle, they would call it. You'd be out in the field. For the field is like going out to train, where you're staying out there from Monday to Friday for you know what I mean, like however long a training cycle was. It could be 16 weeks where you're home only on the weekends and you're out there like that. So if you were training during that time, you probably wouldn't be that sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked because one of my coaches, Coach Adam, he was in the military. He was a Marine, and
Mhm.
he was fighting while he was in the Marines. So he would literally come back home for like vacation or whatever, and would try to get a fight in. But I remember he was telling me how his training camp was basically like two of his friends that he taught how to hold pads, and he was like, "That's
Yeah.
basically it, bro."
That's
Um,
sometimes that's where the best work gets done. And even like if you get your ass kicked like that, it is a story where like, man, I got some buddies together. We took a fight. Boy, we got beat up, but we got ready. You
yeah,
know?
dude, Coach Adam was another type of animal, bro. That guy was crazy, bro. Um,
Sounds it.
Yeah, he actually he got electrocuted on a helicopter or something, and so that's that.
Jeez.
Yeah, that ended his service in the military, but he was still like he'd still be at the gym like sparring and all that. But yeah, I think he got like nerve damage or something. Pretty crazy.
That's a warrior right there, man.
Yeah. Um,
You're still in the gym after some shit like that. That's a warrior there, bud.
dude, that guy's a savage, bro. One of the toughest dudes I know to the
Yeah.
state. Yeah, and then every once in a while we'll get people from my gym that are from the military, and they'll come train for a while they're down here. So it's always interesting to meet people like that.
Yeah, but no, to go back to that, yeah, if you have a job where you can get the training in and there's something local, like I have a buddy that when he got back from Afghanistan, he's an infantryman like me, but he was at Fort Campbell in Kentucky, and somewhere there local was an MMA gym that was reputable enough. He took a pro fight out of there and busted a dude's ass like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's going to depend on how much time you have and kind of where you're at.
Yeah, I don't think Afghanistan's pride doesn't have stuff like that, huh?
Would you be surprised, dude?
Yeah.
I did the VSO mission, which was called Village Stability Operations,
Uh,
which they took an infantry platoon and they attached us separately to special forces to where like my squad got attached to an ODA team
mhm.
and we were on what was called, well, like I probably can't tell you what it was called, but the camp we were on where we were at there, they had a facility, um, and it had mats and punching bags and pads, and there was a dude that was like some sort of, he was a he with our trigger assembly and stuff. He was like he did that kind of thing in the military. Real cool type of, not a get down type of guy, but still a cool wiggle, man. Very cool. And he could hold pads, and he taught me a whole lot through there. So even in Afghanistan, we did get a little bit of that going on.
You never tried going to like an Afghanistan gym, or like a gym in Afghanistan?
Dude, I would. There might be fighters now. Certainly there is. I've been watching RWS and stuff. There's a lot of guys out of Afghanistan and stuff, but I just I had never heard of anything like that while I was there, and not to, we were more there to stop bad things from happening
Yeah.
than to like just kind of look at, like I would have loved to, like, and honestly, speaking of that place, like it gets a really bad rap, and in my opinion, that's kind of off
Uh-huh.
because like the Taliban's really bad,
Yeah.
but the average Afghan person, pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Pretty, like, very hospitable. Will take care of you. They really, I don't know exactly if I'm saying it right, but I think it's like Pashtun Wali, where it's like a principle that they live by, where they like. You ever watch the movie Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg?
Sounds familiar. Lone Survivor sounds familiar. But yeah, continue.
Well, at the end of that movie, he's all fucked up, and he's the lone
Oh, I
survivor.
have seen it. Yes,
And
yes.
okay, you see how, remember in those villagers, they take him in and they take care of him and they protect him even against the Taliban to some of their own deaths.
Yeah.
Like that's not a fake thing. They will do that.
Damn, they'll die for some stranger or what?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they're not like, they get a really bad rap and they also get called stupid because they don't have the things that we have.
Yeah.
You know, and in some sort of way, like we did. Like, don't get me wrong, we invented what we have. We are fucking smart here,
Yeah.
But at some point, they just don't have what we have for whatever the reason,
Hmm.
and I think that's why they get looked at as stupid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the numbering system, right? Didn't that come from the Middle East? That came from, I forgot where, but our numbers like 1, 2, 3 and stuff. That's like an Arab thing, you know. So
Makes sense.
everything's in time, right? So in America right now, it's our time to be. You know, we're the new Rome, but who
Hmm.
knows? In a couple of years, maybe it's Afghanistan. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, dude, like the average Afghan on the street, not so much of like your athlete you're looking at, but there are some out there that are like, whoa, well, looking like I know Kamzat, that dude from the UFC, is not from Afghanistan, but there's a lot of dudes out there that'll Kamzat your, you know what I mean? Don't
Yeah.
sleep on Afghanistan, man. They've been at war since the beginning of that nation, and they haven't lost.
Yeah. Did you feel like when you were stationed out there, did you feel like people like hated you, like the locals and stuff, or were they accepting of you guys?
That's gonna be a very, depending on where you were at and depending on the type, like what you were doing and how they felt you like you were doing them. Like there's a lot of people that would buy into what we were there to do, and they would be helping us and like want to work with us. And there's other people that are kind of like, bro, you're just here, man, and this is my place, and it may not be right to you, but just get out of here.
Yeah.
And like it would be written on the wall, like, go home infidel, you know what I mean? Like they'd all kinds of, you know what I mean? Like I'd get down, I'd go, you want to know, I can stare at somebody now. I learned how to give a dirty look from Afghanistan.
Yeah,
And
just mean mug RBF or what?
bro, like I have never seen a human being able to hate through their eyes like that.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Not all of them. That's not what I'm saying. But you find that Taliban fucker that just doesn't care, he will stare a hole through you that'll scare the shit out of you, man.
Did you feel? Do you, like in your personal experience though, were most people chill with you, or was it like a constant threat, like even with the locals?
It would probably depend on the kind of vibe. Like, if we were just going to do a normal, like, go through you're just gonna go check on a village or something and kind of be kind of playful with that. Not playful, but like,
Friendly?
not go in there on yeah, you're not going in there on like 100% like fuck shit up mode. you might catch some people being cool in the bazaar, want to sell you some things because one of our dollars is 50 of theirs.
Yeah.
So if they sell you a monster for $3, that's 50 times, so they want to play ball a lot of the times. But if I get out and I have to and I look like I'm doing something because something's going to happen, then ain't nobody messing with nothing.
Yeah.
And a good way to, you'll hear this from a lot of people, but if you've gone somewhere in Afghanistan and it's populated and you come back and it's not, it's about to go down.
Like they know what's up.
Yeah, they're not doing that for nothing. I'm not gonna say I'm not affiliated with anything here in the States. I've never banged nothing, none of that shit. I'm not talking bad about nobody, but in Afghanistan, if you pull up in the Taliban's neighborhood, there is no if they'll fuck you up. It is happening. They knew you were there and it's going.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
no laws to stop them. Like here, at least stuff that's going on here has to worry about police and things.
Yeah.
Over there, they're just what? You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, that sounds scary.
It can't. Yeah, dude. Honestly, anybody that comes back from there and tells you that it's not is lying, or probably has something so wrong with them we don't even want because it's just scary. It is and I'm not. I don't want to make it sound like I'm scared of it, but it is scary.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know.
it seems like the whole experience. Like, I mean, even just them, because I mean, I've never been there, but they look like they're like a third world country, like So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you're a place where you see mass poverty, and then not only is there poverty that makes you kind of like sad or whatever, grief stricken, but then you now have people actively trying to come at your life, or see you as like an infidel or whatever.
Right.
I would never do it. Me, nah, I'm good. I would go over to Afghanistan and I would be like, does the Taliban smoke weed? Do they got
Hey,
the bomb?
bro. No, dude, there's a lot of that over there. Not that we had it, we would see it. Sometimes you burn down fields, but there is a lot of that over there. And when it smelled pretty fine,
You burnt down their pot fields?
not me personally, but people like U.S.
The
forces
Americans?
have, yeah.
Ah, that's
I've
terrible.
seen them. We had it, where I was at in Ahmed Kel. I was
Uh,
there in Ahmed Kel, and we were with this ANA, which is Afghan National Army, and they were
uh,
kind of with us on that base and go fuck around, do things with us. And they had the same kind of trucks as us. And again, I'm not calling them dumb. They're just not trained like us. So when I need that vehicle to go with me, I can't trust him checking it.
uh,
I've got to check it. You know what I mean? I got to make sure that it's here to, you know. And I'm back here one day and I'm like, Morris, dude, look at this. And I pull up some giant, big old buds of spore looking. What are these dudes doing back here? You know what I mean? And I can't say nothing to them. For one, I don't really want to. It's weed, man. I'm from Cali. I don't care. If that's your wiggle, bro, just don't get me killed out here. You want to wiggle while you're high, do it. But
yeah.
it was just funny, and I did not expect it. Of all, I'm getting ready for a mission in Afghanistan. I pull up some weed.
Yeah.
You know,
Did any of, well, you don't got to say names, but did any of the soldiers partake in some of the local cannabis?
none that I know of. But again, I've definitely heard a load of stories where, I mean, everybody will not everybody. A lot of guys will tell you they've done that, and of course, there's going to be a lot of them that are full of shit. But in between that, some of them have to not be.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
I think so. I would probably try it. I don't know how strict they are in the military, if they're constantly drug testing or what.
I mean, it could be, and you'd have to be smart about it. Not that I've done it, but if you were gonna do it, you'd probably want to freak a cigarette or something and put a little in here, put a little tobacco back, a little bit here, and then maybe wait till you're on the late guard shift and partake. You know?
That's interesting too, though, because it's like you can go over there, you can shit up, you can blow people up, but you're like you cannot smoke their weed though. You
no,
that's where
no,
we draw the
it's
line.
yeah, as fun as it would be, and as much as it smells good. And as much as your commander would probably laugh, he'd have to bust your ass too, you know?
Yeah. You're allowed to drink there, I'm assuming though, right? Or
Not
you're
in
on.
Afghanistan. Well, not in a not. You're allowed to drink in Kyrgyzstan. There's a base in Kyrgyzstan called Manas,
Uh,
and there's a little bar there, and it's not like you're not getting drunk. There's a 2 drink limit, and it's 2 beers, and if or two mixed drinks, but there's literally just so little actual heart. You might as well drink the beer. Put it
yeah.
like that. And you can drink after deployment in Kyrgyzstan, but you're definitely not allowed to drink in Afghanistan. I'm not saying people don't do it; they definitely do, but they shouldn't be.
Yeah, that makes sense. Though I guess fuck it. Though I'm down to get drunk and just throw my life away.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back to it, like there's a lot of guard shift nights where nothing happened. It would have really been nicer to have a buzz sitting there for a couple of hours than not.
A little
You
liquid
know,
courage, you know?
yeah, it would have been cool, but like an alcoholic's luck. The
Yeah,
one night you do it, all hell breaks loose and an RPG comes through the motherfucker.
yeah.
You don't want that.
What was the craziest experience you had while you were out in Afghanistan?
We found we hit a few and we found like I can't remember the exact number and I don't want to say too high, so I'm gonna lowball it, but it was like 9 or 10 IEDs that day, which are improvised explosive devices.
Uh-huh.
We were going out to this base that hadn't been occupied by us for a while. It was previously occupied by US forces, but it was in such a messed up area that it hadn't been. And they were sending us to kind of go get it back and make sure it was right. And on the way there, we found 10 IEDs.
Damn, just waiting for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. And then it was a process because you have to dispose of them all. And you're talking like we left really early in the morning and we didn't get there till really early the next morning.
Did you ever see any like child soldiers or anything like that?
Child? Yeah. Man, them kids over there are something else, and like they'll come up to you and ask you for a cigarette. And
Yeah, like
in
a 5 year
America,
old.
that's not. Yeah, in America, that's not right. You know what I mean? But who am I to tell them they can't have it in Afghanistan? Sure, buddy, you can have a cigarette. Like so kids are men over there. Put it like
Yeah,
that. And like that, and you do see some of that. I didn't see too much of it. And when you do see stuff like that, you try to avoid directly dealing with it as much as possible.
yeah,
Like sometimes when someone's that young, this is gonna sound fucked up, but if I fuck the guy up next to that little young bastard, he might get so scared he just runs the fuck away.
hmm.
And in my opinion, I'd rather take out old 30-year-old homie than 16-year-old confused asshole in a country where no one cares. You
Does
know what I
that
mean? That
have you?
sounds fucked up. It's a
No,
fucked up situation
makes sense.
altogether, but in that, like a kid is like now that I am a dad, you realize like kids are just kids, man. 16, 4, 12, they're kids. And them kids in Afghanistan might be doing some messed up. Look what they're dealing with. So if you can avoid messing some little confused kid up to mess with someone else who's just a dick, I'm going to do that. Mm.
I've heard stories of like I don't know if it's Afghanistan, but places in the Middle East where it's common for like boys to get married off to men or something. Or I don't know if the word married is the correct word, but is that something that you witnessed while you were out there?
I didn't see it, but I've definitely heard of the custom. Or like, I don't know 100%, but what's been explained to me is like there is maybe a process where like a closer male friend of the family ends up some sort of way doing that type of shit with the little dude, and like it over there it's okay, and I know it's not okay, and I know it's not okay over here, but over there it is, and it's just one of those things that you just if I did see it, I probably did my best to not.
Yeah, it's like I feel like in a situation like that, it's like you can't really make a big deal out of it because at the end of the day, it's like you can't go to someone's house and start telling them what to do. You know what I mean?
No, and that's not what I'm there for, and to be honest, we'd have to kill all of them because they're just all doing it.
Yeah,
And
that's
I can't just go around genociding people because of their customs and that they don't fit into mine.
yeah, that's
You
very
know?
true. Yep, yep. Yeah, so you did 4 years. You did what? 2 years? You said in Afghanistan.
No, it was only like it was a 9 month deployment because it was short with the we were attached to the special forces, the Green Berets, so it was only 9 months.
Yeah.
But it ended
So
up being from November, like the end of November to somewhere in June or something like that.
yeah, was there like a lot of action while you were down there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I got my CIB, and there was a lot of other dudes that got it a lot worse than me on my deployment, like a lot worse. I mean, people died,
Yeah,
so they got it a lot. Um, and they're like, there's dudes on my deployment like that. One dude was in a firefight and had a bullet hole in him, and was still rocking a 50 cal. Now I don't know if you've ever shot a 50 cal that's automatic, but that kicks, and he wasn't just shooting it once, like the gunk, the gunk, the gunk. and he's got a bullet hole. Like it come up the back of his shoulder, came out the front, totally screwed this dude up, and he's just rocking through that shit. You know,
Yeah.
like when someone was just gonna tag him out to like relieve him off the machine gun, they like about put their finger in a hole and was like, "Bro, you're fucking hurt."
Yeah. Did you not realize
And
it?
no, he's like, "I thought I took some shrapnel, but I knew it wasn't that big of a deal." Brother, it was a whole fucking big. You're a man, is what that is.
Damn, that's
You're a
crazy.
fucking man, dude. That's all that is. It was a big deal. You're a man.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't do that, man. I like my shoulder. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I got too
yeah. I
much
mean, and
tattoos,
see,
bro.
but shout out to him. I'm not going to name his name. He might not want it out there, but fucker got a bronze star for it.
Yeah. Is that so bronze? I'm assuming there's like silver and gold above that or something, and then purple or
I,
what?
I, I think it
How's
just
it?
goes silver above it. It's like, look, as much as I was in the army, I don't know about all those. Like, I know the Medal of Honor is the best one you can get, and but Bronze Star's up there. It's
Yeah.
a silver's above it, but bronze is there.
What a fucking savage, bro. Those are the type of men you need in America right there, bro.
Yeah, like when we got back from deployment, there's a when you get to update your ERBs, which is kind of like your army resume. He had there's just this little E6, which is a sergeant in the army, and he had to come off of recruiting duty. And look, I don't want to shit on all recruiters because I'm sure there's some recruiters out there that are still with it, but a lot of them just aren't. They come off the line, which is called being like the line is in the infantry when you're on a line unit. You're just not a recruiter. You're not in a school. You're out there doing your thing. You come off that line, you go to recruiting, and you get soft. And this is, in my opinion, what this guy was. You know what I mean? I don't like him much, so I will say his name, Sergeant Sams, was soft. And he was talking shit to this guy about like the guy was like, "I'm going to bring in my Bronze Star paperwork tomorrow to add to my ERB." And he didn't say it like I'm bringing my. He just was like, "I okay." You asked the question, I'm bringing it. And the guy was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, you motherfucker." You know, and he brought it in and showed it to him the next day and was like, "Yeah, dude, I might not have the same rank as you, but you haven't done shit."
Damn. What do you say? Shut him up or what?
He was soft, sat there and did not. Because look, not only was he soft in the army, he's a soft man. Sergeant Wesley Sams was just a soft ass man.
Yeah. Crazy. The
Mm.
disrespect, man.
Yeah.
All right, so you're in the military, you get out and you're 20, I believe, or no, 18, 19, 20. You're 22, right?
When I got out, oh
Yeah.
no, I was closer to. It was 2014, so I was probably 23, getting
20.
ready to be 20. Yeah.
So what's going on in Mike's life at 23?
Honestly, dude, it's like nothing great, nothing bad. Like I've not ever been to prison or anything like that. I've not ever like, I am an alcoholic. I'm just on top of it now, but I've never like injected nothing, nothing like that. But nothing good was really going on. I was in a bad marriage. She cheated on me while I was on deployment, took all my money. Of course, there was probably some better planning I could have done while I was there, but there's a lot of other going on I wasn't focused on as well. Like I did that deployment for free. I didn't get a damn dime. That took it all. So I was still in that marriage trying to get out of it after and ended up going to Florida with her because that's where her family lived and just lost a bunch of weight just being you know what I mean, doing some cocaine and smoking some weed and not really eating as much as I should have been, feeding the habit and not the body.
Yeah.
And so nothing too negative was going on, but definitely nothing positive at 23.
Yeah. So you said you had a problem with alcohol. When did that start?
In retrospect, now that I think about it, probably the first time that I got drunk and liked it. But um, when it really became a problem was right before I went to the army, and it wasn't so much as a problem. It was one night we went out to the Tachi Palace, which it's a casino out this way. Before we had a buddy who looked like he was a grown ass man because he could grow a beard, and he got us a whole bunch of Captain Morgan, and we got torn up.
Yeah.
And that night I realized, like, man, I really like this. This is fun. And I think that's when it became a problem because like I have one of these personalities to where like I don't like to talk about success in martial arts from a personal standpoint because you're always going to be biased to yourself. I feel like from a martial arts standpoint, like there's guys in my life, like there's one dude, Mike Moreno, Sensei Mike Moreno. If he was to tell me I was good at martial arts, then I would say that. But I can look in the mirror and see I've gotten some good results with fitness. And the same personality that got me in trouble with alcohol is the one that has gotten me into so much success with fitness. It's that obsessive personality. It's that when I like it, be it good or bad, I've got to have more.
And a lot of people talk about that. I think that's like a catalyst for a lot of people who fight or even like people that go to the gym regularly. A lot
Mhm.
of those people say like, if I'm not doing this, then I would be like doing something bad. I mean, for me myself too, bro. I mean, the reason I got into martial arts is to get out of like some other addictions that I was in. I was just trying
Mhm.
to find something to help me stay distracted. I just happened to land on Muay Thai.
Hey, good one to land on, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it provides that same neural like response, like you get the serotonin where you feel good, community, you got fucking like all those endorphin rushes from when you're sparring or hitting pads hard. So it was kind of just like, oh, I like this feeling. This is kind of like when I get high.
Yeah,
Just
and
make
there's
sure.
consequences too. The I like everything you're saying too, but the little consequences in Muay Thai, you come in, you get fucked up a little bit, you respect it. Like as much as you love it, it will still teach you to respect it when you've loved it a little too much.
Yeah, I get reminded that when I spar hard all the time.
Oh man, me too. It's all fun and games when I'm the guy who's been training. I tell my students all the time, yeah, in this gym, you're the beginners. Let crew Malapet walk in, we're all fucking beginners. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's all fun and games until I had a buddy, his name's Mike Rossi. Shout out Wig. He was talking to me one time and he was like, man, when you're sparring a Thai, a real Thai, be careful thinking that you're doing stuff when in reality they're probably just letting you get away with it and picking their time to mess you up. And
the traps. They're setting traps.
yeah, and I love that about Muay Thai because with me, like in life, I found that if there is no threat of some sort of consequence, I'm just gonna kind of do whatever the fuck I want, And it's got to be like I'm not trying to sound tough or cool because I'm not the toughest guy in the world. Matter of fact, I just fought in December and Roger Ryan beat my ass, so I'm not the toughest guy in the world, but I do like to fight, you know.
It's
Oh.
very true. So you train at a Malapit's gym?
Yeah, I have. I took my last fight out of Crisp MMA here in Visalia, but the majority of my time has been with Crew Malapit. Yeah,
Damn, that's sick. He's got a seminar this Saturday, I think, on Muay Thai America, I believe. I don't know if you know about it.
yeah, I heard, and I just read that it was a donation type deal.
Hmm.
That in itself to me, like I am going to be a little biased to Crew Malapit because that dude is everything that. And when I say this, I don't want the uncultured f***ers to get mad. He is everything that a Thai should be to you when it comes to a trainer and a crew. For those who know, there's an experience you can get from a Muay Thai crew or an Ajarn or a master or whoever it is that is not gonna not everybody's gonna get it, but every now and again one of them will take a liking to you if you're lucky. And then on that alone, Malapet is that for me, so I'm gonna be a little biased, but just the fact that it's a donation seminar for someone that good
Hmm.
with 7 world titles, like where they fight RWS at, I can't pronounce the stadium, but he had a belt from. Yes, that one.
Rajadhanan.
I just didn't. I didn't want
I
to
can't
sound
say it.
all.
I
Yeah,
can't
do
say
you
it. I
know?
don't.
Yeah, but he has a belt from there along with 6 other
Rajadhanan.
world titles.
Yeah.
So something to like not a required price to donate to that. That's amazing. Hats off to him, man.
Yeah, and for those of you that maybe not aren't too familiar with Muay Thai, like there's like three big stadiums in Thailand that I can think of off the top of my head. Raj is one
Mhm.
of them, Lumpini, and why am I spacing on this third dude? But there's a third one. But
Yeah,
and,
I can't think of it either.
yeah, Malapit, bro, he's a savage. I mean, I don't think he was born out here, but he migrated to Fresno, I believe, right? I think he was born in Thailand, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
from what I know is Crude. I've watched a documentary on him. He used to be on Amazon. It'll still tell you it's there. You just can't buy it no more.
Uh-huh.
And from what I heard, I really feel like from that, it's been a while since I watched it, but he like didn't even see electricity until he was 8 years old. He
Damn.
grew up in the jungle of Thailand and like a literal, how we have chickens that wake us up?
Yeah.
They had an elephant,
Damn. The elephants are
you
tight though.
know?
I'd rather have an elephant. That's cool.
Oh, shoot, yeah, dude. Dumbo out there instead of a chicken. Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, yeah, Malaipit, bro, he's a savage. He's local here. He's a local hero because he moved out here. So like all my
Mhm.
friends growing up, my friends from Central California were always like, bro, this Malaipit full savage. He fought for Lion Fight for a while. He fought Kevin
Yeah.
Ross.
Hmm.
Who else did he fight
Tough
off the
go
top of my
there.
head? Yeah, did he win against Kevin Ross? I can't remember.
No,
He lost.
no. Yeah, Kevin Ross did his thing on that one. Like he didn't knock him out. He didn't. I don't think he ever hurt him, but he won. If you
Yeah.
watch that fight, Kevin Ross won that fight, hands down.
Yeah, I can't remember. That was like one of Lion Fight's like last fights, I believe, before they shut down. But
Yeah, it didn't even look like it was in that big of a venue for Kevin Ross and Malapet fighting.
it's like
But it looked
they're they're
like he
coming to
might have
the end of
gotten
the
into a
money.
high school gymnasium for a stadium title. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that was when they're starting to show the money wasn't coming anymore. They're like, shit,
Yeah,
how can we get the last bit of this,
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, dude, Malapit Savage. I want to check out his gym someday, dude. Every time I see him, I'm like starstruck, bro.
Yeah, same here, man. Like I had been my first fight with him was in 2016. It was I think it was the US Muay Thai Cup. He was coaching one of the teams, NorCal. We were out there and I knew who he was, but at the same point in time, I was still very new to Muay. I was green, man. I'd only been training for 4 months. He threw me in my first fight. Crazy ass, right?
That's crazy. 4 months is
Yeah.
crazy, dude.
Yeah. Now look, I'm not saying that I was qualified to do it, but I was an angry little fucker out of Afghanistan and ready, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, but we're there, and like I'm walking around with Manny Mancha at the time too, who's fighting for glory,
he's
who's
got his own.
fought for
He's got his own gym
legacy.
now.
Yeah, like there's at that time, Manny's like there's commentators screaming, Manny Mancha sets the house on fire. Like, and I'm walking through there with him, and people are still like bowing to crew. It's a crazy. Like I'm still what like I. That's when I realized this man's all of everything you thought he was.
Dude, I want to do a Fresno run and interview Malapit and Manny sometime, dude. Because I think they're pretty close to get to their gyms are pretty close, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're not far. I'm Crew Malapet's up there, and it's in Clovis, and I don't know exactly where Manny's at. I've been there a few times, but they can't be that far apart.
Mm-hmm.
And that would probably be a really cool interview. And Crew Malapet's a funny dude, man. Like I don't want to make him sound like he's not serious or intelligent because he's all the way intelligent, but he's a funny dude too.
I never seen the funny part of him, bro. I always see him like at shows and he looks very serious all the time and like just locked in, dude. I'm always like, is this just how he is? And then I follow him on IG and he's always just, you know. And I'm like, damn, dude, this fool's intense. But you're actually
Yeah.
you're the second person who told me he's really chill and funny. The Hung Vu, he knows him personally.
Oh.
He's like, nah, dude. He's like, Malapit's cool. He likes to drink and stuff.
Yeah, that guy, the guy you're just talking about, man, that's a dude that also knows a lot about Muay Thai. You're talking about a guy that's got pictures with Romy Adanza.
Yeah,
These
dude.
kids don't even know who Romy Adanza is. They can't stop crazy. They didn't stop
Mm-mm.
crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one ever did. Joe Schilling just slapped somebody in a public place a few years ago. He still can't stop crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. That whole time was tight, dude. I actually just saw Hung on Saturday. He got me a media pass for WCK and where was it? Thunder Studios. It was tight. I'm actually gonna finish the interview, all the interviews I did tonight, and I'll post them up there. But shout out Hung, dude.
Yeah, dude, he's a legend. In my opinion, at least, like, don't let me speak like I know everything, but to me, in my opinion, that man's a legend.
All right, so you get out of the military. What brings you to Muay Thai, dude? Like you just randomly showed up to a gym or what?
No, I wanted to fight MMA,
Uh-huh.
and I'm also very impatient. So there's a gym in Fresno or Clovis called Halo, and the head instructor, as he should have, told me like, you probably don't want to take an MMA fight until you're at least a blue belt. That makes sense, you know what I mean? Like to me, and then it didn't because I was 26 and I just what? Nah, dude, I'm gonna fight somebody. I just got out of war. You know what I mean? What do you mean? I was going on Blackstone and I saw this sign that said 7-time world champion. And the gym just didn't look like, it looked like a little slice of Thailand. Little, small. There was a ring in there that wasn't even like, it was a ring, yes, but it wasn't lifted up off the ground like what Crew Malapet's got now. It was like
Just
an
on the
old, like a
floor.
top, yeah, like a Buakaw Banchamek gym ring on the ground and and there was fighters. I could every time I drove by, there was fighters sitting there shirtless after training, just talking with crew. And I'm like, man, that don't look American, and Muay Thai's not either. I might need to go there.
You're like, I don't speak a lick of Asian, but I'm down.
Yeah, like okay, I'm not trying to be too like okay. I am a very big harper on like traditional Muay Thai, but I mean they invented it.
Hmm.
There's a chance they know it better than the rest of us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it's the same concept as like that's why if I wanted Hispanic food, I'm doing Cali, not Texas.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I saw that and I was like, man, as American as I am going to humble myself and go find that's their culture. This is what they do. Don't let me reinvent their wheel. Let me just ride on that. You know what I mean? That's what led me to Crew Malapet, really. And then I found out like that I like Muay Thai, and that I didn't. I as much as I do like Jiu-Jitsu now, I feel like I've almost learned Jiu-Jitsu because it's just almost like do that. Why not? You know, like not that I don't like it because I do love it, and I'm not trying to disrespect Jiu-Jitsu at all. I loved it. I just did it today, but Muay Thai is where it's at for me. And once I got with Crew Malapet and like just his vibe, man. Like I've taken that dude to pick up a live chicken once after practice.
Random.
Yeah.
What do you do
He
with it?
said, he put it in my truck. He said, like, and when I talk like him, I'm not trying to mock or be rude, but he's Michael, maybe you take me somewhere, get chicken, we go back home. Yes, Crew. This sounds fucking amazing. Wherever we're going, we're going to go get this chicken.
What
You
happened to the
know
chicken though? Did he eat it or was it a pet?
what I mean? I don't know. I know that other times at that gym in Blackstone, I've seen chickens delivered there.
Yeah.
He's
They
probably
just
just keeping them for eggs. He's not a mean man. He
it's
probably just
not
takes
that
care
eating
of
is
all the
mean.
chickens.
It's not that eating's mean or anything. I would just be like, I'd be like, Coach, I'll take you there. But what are you gonna do with the kid chicken? I mean, I
I was
gotta,
just,
I gotta weigh out like how the
yeah,
morality of the situation. You know what I mean?
yeah. That was the weirdest thing, man. It was not weird, but it was like I parked in this. It was like man, like a drug deal for a chicken, man. Like I'm in this alley, Crew walks off, and I'm like,
You're all by
I'm kind
yourself.
of, I'm feeling pretty safe because it is like, what are you gonna do to him that doesn't involve a gun that's gonna even matter? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I'm still a little nervous. We're
Uh,
in Fresno and shit, and I don't know where I'm at. There's a man coming back with a chicken.
yeah. Yeah. Fresno's pretty ghetto, dude. So it can get rough out there.
It definitely can. Shout out Fresno and everybody that survived it. Y'all don't play.
Yeah, I got some really good friends out in Fresno. I basically consider my homie Scott like family. He kind of
Mhm.
a little old homie that showed me a lot in life. But I go out there from time to time, dude. It's rough.
Yeah, like it has. I don't want to make it sound like it's a complete shithole or anything like that. There's a lot of beautiful stuff in Fresno, but it also has what Fresno has.
No, I agree. I agree. That's why a lot of people out there get into like Muay Thai. I feel like I don't even know how Muay Thai got brought out there, but a lot of my homies that live there, they do Muay Thai or something like that.
When I first started doing Muay Thai in 2015 here, I almost feel like it was easier, not easier, but there was more availability for Muay Thai fights then than MMA fights.
Uh-huh.
And that, like when I was in 2015, it was the 559 fights,
Hmm.
and they hadn't progressed to where they are now. Now they're doing it. Like 559 fights is something out here. They started on a baseball field, like most people do. And that might have been why people wanted so much more Muay Thai because like those were real ring. Not that that wasn't real. It was just a smaller cage. I think that's why Muay Thai might have gotten the jump back then. As to now, like I don't even know if there's a real pro scene in California anymore for Muay Thai. I've been like listening to Ezra and those guys. Shout out them on Muay TV, but listening to him
But
speak.
that feels tight, dude. Ezra.
Oh my god! Like if you should listen to anybody in California about Muay Thai, probably him because
Yeah,
he's gonna give it to you real, and he's not. He's like a very knowledgeable, thought out, smart human being.
yeah. I follow his show, dude. I've spoken to him before. Like a few weeks ago, I talked to him. He's a cool guy, man.
I take everything he says to the bank. Like this man is. I had a conversation with him once, and he something came up about writing, right? And he'll write for hours. You know how productive that's got to be for your thinking level. For what I was impressed, you could just not that you could do that. Like I think you're dumb, but as a grown man with all the shit you've got going on, you still have time to write for hours. That's fucking impressive.
Yeah, it's like calligraphy, but like for our generation.
Yeah, like so. Just on the principle of him being that thought out, when he speaks, I tend to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, out here, I mean, in southern on the southern side of Cali, we got we got a lot of promotions. WCK is kind of like one of the ones I've been really kind of riding with
Mhm.
a lot lately. But there's other ones, and I know WBC they're trying to come over to California too. But yeah, right now Dennis I think has like probably one of the biggest promotions out here.
Is that WCK?
Yeah, have you ever been to one of those events?
I've not been to one, but to be honest, shout out them too. Not that it matters from like, but like shout out them, man. I always wanted to fight for them. Like, it doesn't look like a shit show at all. It looks organized. It looks like everybody's on a journey.
Mhm.
Whether they're gonna beat Conor McGregor or not, their journey is important because it's important to them, and as a person, it should be important to you too. And the WCK is taking that shit and they're doing it right. Like, you may be an amateur in headgear, they don't make you feel like it.
That's facts though.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Last night or on Saturday night too, they're amateur. They do amateurs first half and then pros the second half. Dude, their
Mhm.
amateurs were bangers, bro. I was like, damn, they still got pro fights after this. This is crazy, dude. This is a good
Right.
event.
When there's guys like Stu fighting on the
Stu was
amateurs,
on that card, bro.
dude, when there's someone with that kind of talent and the like, watch him. He's not just out there aimlessly beating ass. He sees things. He understands distance. He's pacing. He's planning. You know, when someone that good is on the amateur card, my God, this
Yeah,
show must be great.
yeah, shout out Stu too. He got the dub, dude. Last time I interviewed him, our podcast interview, he fought for Fighters Rep. He unfortunately
Mhm.
didn't get the dub. Fought like a month later, dude. Did he fight the same opponent? I can't remember.
I don't
I
know.
don't think so. I don't
Knowing
think so.
him though,
No, I don't think
he'd
so.
probably want to run that back. He's a tough fighter.
Yeah, they fought twice before, I think. So that'd have been interesting if they did a third. I don't remember because I was sauced.
Ah, I hear you, man.
Because
Yeah,
he
he
wasn't
had some.
originally he wasn't on the card. I didn't see him on the card, but then I saw him there, and I was like, "Oh shit, Stu's here."
I follow Stu's career, man. Like I met him when he was at One Nation. That was in Bakersfield. And there was a time where I was coaching for Elite Team Selma, and he was kind of coaching there as well. Right away, I saw him and I was like, I'm still an amateur fighter, and I already don't think I'm better than you. So I don't think that I can coach you to your potential, man. I shot him right to man. Not that like, he went to Manny's because of me. No. But I did say if I was you, I'd probably go to Manny's because I can't do any more for you, man.
Yeah, that's real though. That's real.
Yeah, he's been good ever since. Like he's fought Keelan twice. Keelan's on a terror right now. You just don't want to be in front of Keelan at this point, but Stu does.
Yeah, yeah. Stu's cool. He's got a dope personality too. I'm glad. I'm glad I got to see him again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop his interview hopefully tonight or tomorrow. That'd be sick. This is my first time night doing post fight interviews and all that, so
Mhm.
it's pretty fun. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna. What is that like, man? Working like I've only ever worked for a promotion as part of like going out there and fighting. What's it like doing? Like you said, you filmed for him, right?
I just did interviews and stuff. They basically Dennis and Hung. They just gave me a media pass and just told me just
Mhm.
I could just walk around and interview people. So it was interesting. I didn't know what to do at first because I never did it, you know. But then after
Mhm, yeah.
after I got a couple of them in, it kind of like started flowing. Plus, I had a couple drinks, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. I
Personality
mean,
starts to come out.
once you're walking out with the camera, bro, it becomes a little easier because people are like, "Oh, this guy's doing something." You know, what's he doing?
Yeah, they want to. They naturally want to migrate and be nice to you because you're the guy with the camera.
Especially if you just won, bro. I did one fight where the guy lost. I did two fights actually. Caleb, the main event,
Yeah.
he lost. But before him, one of the first people I interviewed, I think his name was Lewis. I interviewed him
Mhm.
after, and then during the interview, I was like, "Why am I doing this?" And I realized, all right, don't interview people that lose. It just the energy's bummed out, bro. You know.
Yeah.
But some people are cool. Some people take a loss good. Caleb took it well. He came out and was like, "Oh, it was a good fight, bro. I needed that shit." Like, you know, I was like, "All right, this can be a good interview," you know. But shout out to that dude Lewis, bro. He was young, so I could tell he was taking it a little hard.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Like, I honestly was in a really good place after Roger whooped me, dude. Like, well, for one, like it took 34 years for someone to do it. You know what I mean? I was ready for it when it came. Not ready, and I wanted to lose, but like when you fight, if you're not prepared to, or not prepared to, but if you're not okay with the fact you might lose, just stop. And I would have loved to done an interview after that because I think I could have just like, I think I could have really highlighted how well Roger whooped my ass, man.
Yeah, it's all about personalities, man. Some people they get really sad, and then I feel bad for making them talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, he wants to just be left alone or something, you know?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I did not feel per se happy after that. Like I worked my ass off getting ready for Roger. Like, I know a lot of people around here, and like they saw his picture and they see my build, and I'm a muscular dude, and on his picture, it looked like they are all looking at him like he's not muscular. Well, to me, the picture looked like he had been cutting weight. So no one's gonna look muscular for that. But I knew his camp, dude. Like the Wooden Man, bro, nothing comes out of there soft. And I think a lot of people were just like underestimating Roger. I wasn't. He whooped me, man. It was kind of like it's cool to be a part of, to be honest. Like I love Muay Thai. He did it right that night, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have one winner and one loser. You know,
Yeah, and
that's just how it
it's
goes.
you've like you've just gotta I learned this that night. Like I didn't know how I was gonna take a loss for a fight. Growing up, I played a lot of baseball. And for the area I was in, I was pretty good. So when I didn't do well, man, I was that kid throwing baseball bats and getting kicked out of games and stuff. So like my dad was probably watching me lose that fight and more worried about what's he gonna do next, you know?
Yeah.
I was really surprised that I just was like, all right, man, you lost. Here it is. That's all there is to it. Like, in honesty, it's a lot scarier before it happens than when it happens. Like, I lost. No one treats me any different. When I go to spar, I'm no worse than I was. Like Roger beat the good out of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, to me, it was almost a freeing experience.
Mhm.
Like if I was to ever fight again, like if I wasn't 34 and a little old to be an amateur still, if I was to fight again, I think I would finally be fighting to win and not fighting to just not lose. Because there's a difference. Like watch Eddie Alvarez fight. He's fighting to win.
Mhm.
He's not fighting to not lose. Like he just did an interview with Mighty Mouse not too long ago, and they asked him, how many times can you get knocked down in bare knuckle championship before it's over? He said, just as many times until you can keep standing up. That's why it's my sport.
Hard. I forgot his jaw broke
Yeah.
in his last fight against who did he fight? Was that
Mhm.
Eddie or that? No, was
Yeah,
that Eddie?
and he just got something happen. Every time he fights, something happens to him. He just doesn't care.
I believe it was Eddie. I think he got his jaw broken pretty like sick with it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's like what he said, bro. You gotta. It's gonna be a doctor, or it's gonna be death. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And when you accept that, it's much easier to compete.
Yeah. So we were talking before. You posted something about like parenting and ADHD. Was that because like your kid has ADHD, or was that because you have it?
I have it, and I've been diagnosed with it later in life. Like me and my mental health through the VA, we just found that out.
How old were you?
um, 33.
Damn, that's adult ADHD.
Yeah, dude.
Undiagnosed.
But honestly, dude, it all makes sense.
Did
Like
you?
I was always, what's wrong with me? Why am I different? And I wasn't upset about it. It wasn't something that made me feel like a turd. I was just like, why am I, what the dude? I'm always different, you know?
Yeah.
And now I know. It's just, I've just got something that just like, a lot of parents, there ain't nothing wrong with my kid. No, there's nothing wrong with your kid, but ADHD might be present, and that's where I'm at with it. Like, but for me with like parenting with that is like, I'm starting to notice like, and also I do have PTSD as well. That will make parenting a lot harder because I don't even know if when I'm getting upset, am I even upset at him or is there just a whole bunch of war trauma I'm not over yet? That's where it gets a little difficult. ADHD is difficult to parent with, but PTSD is much more difficult because you got to really think your actions through. And then, like, this is, how a lot of people with tempers, I got a temper. They talk like it's cool. Bro, my temper ain't cool. My temper should be, you see that scene off of Bad Boys 2 when they're talking about Will Smith put titties in this box and throw that shit into the ocean? That's where my temper belongs.
Huh. PTSD. So, have you taken anything for the PTSD?
Yeah, I'm on a bunch of, not a bunch, I'm on some
Dang.
stuff from the VA. I've got a few. I'm on an antidepressant and an antipsychotic. The best medicine for me with PTSD is mushrooms.
That's
To be honest,
I've been hearing some
I'm
stuff
not
about
saying
that.
that. Yeah, I'm not. I don't mean go out there and Pauly Shore yourself. You know what I mean? If you have some PTSD and some shit's bugging you and nothing else is working, you might try a little bit of that. I mean, like they even make it to where now, my sponsor, I'm sponsored by a company, Waxer's Lab here in Fresno.
Shout
And
out Waxer's Lab.
yeah, man, they saved my life with those damn things, man. I could talk about them all day and how mushrooms saved my life, but they really did. But they have a product that they're capsules, and it comes where it's like 100 milligrams per capsule, and that's so little as far as dosaging goes. But the effects can be so positive if it's for you. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be for everybody. Just like medical marijuana is not for everybody that might need it, this might not be either. But if it is for you, like it is for me, it's going to change your life because it did mine.
That's interesting. Well, what's the brand again?
It's called Waxter's Lab here
Waxer's
in
Lab.
yeah, they're based out of Fresno and Clovis, but they'll deliver anywhere. The minimums just go up and down as far as they got to go.
Yeah, dude, Ian McCall, dude, I interviewed him 2 weeks ago. I'm actually waiting for him to approve it before I drop it. I always like send my guests the video before I publish just to make sure they're okay with it. But
Yeah.
he's really big on like psychedelic treatments for like CTE and stuff. He's developed a lot of studies. And his sponsor is this brand. It's called, I have it right here on the table. This is his sponsor. It's called Nootropic Gummies.
Oh hell, that sounds good.
But yeah, dude, maybe sometime you can connect with them, dude. Maybe you can involved with some stuff he's doing because he's actually doing research where he's actually like giving people like either stuff like this. There's like an
Mhm.
ayahuasca retreat, but they're going to
Oh,
be involved with the study with MAPS. I don't know if you heard of MAPS.
no, I haven't.
It's like an organization that they basically study. Mostly, they basically study Schedule One drugs. So there's
Okay.
different patents that they were approved for. But one of the things they're going to do is they're going to take like, for this study. He wants to take fighters and do like an ayahuasca trip, and then like he wants to have their brains examined or whatever. You know, maybe hook them up to the
Yeah.
machine, ask some questions. It's pretty interesting stuff, dude. But if it works out, bro, it'll definitely benefit people like you. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear what I said on ayahuasca, man.
Dude, he told me some
I,
crazy stories, bro. You told me how the first year when you do it, before you start tripping, you usually throw up and poop.
oh, wow. So I'm going to need to be on a toilet then.
Well, he says poop doesn't always happen, but for a lot of people, they end up pooping. You know, diarrhea.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got a sensitive stomach, so I'm going to put me in that category, brother.
I was like, man, I'm already like not sure if I want to do this, but now you for sure I don't want to do this.
Yeah, right. Man, might
Uh,
actually scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's really cool that he's spearheading that. I think that's going to help a lot of people like fighters in the future. You know, from MMA to Muay Thai, boxing, all this stuff. You know, it's
Mhm.
kind of like uncharted territory.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, I get very mixed reviews when I talk about them with people because I feel mushrooms are right now where medical marijuana was like 15 years ago, where it is what it is, but back then people were still looking at it like just a bunch of dopers trying to get high. And I think that's what people are still like, and I don't think they have a full understanding of what mushrooms are like. It's not just like the movies. And I think that's why I get so much mixed reviews is because it's just it's in its infancy as far as medicine. But 10 to 20 years from now, I think you might just have mushroom dispensaries, man.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be like in the weed dispensaries. This is where I feel like we're gonna go. You know what I mean? You're gonna have like a one shop that's gonna have mushrooms and weed.
Bro, you talking that would be my man, I would love to just stay there.
Yeah, because I don't think the mushroom market is mature enough. Like the reason that we have these big dispensaries is because
Mhm.
there was already a illegal cannabis market, so now you're just putting it in a storefront, you know. But
Right.
I feel like mushrooms is still the market for it is still like less, you know. There's less
Yeah,
people involved in it,
absolutely.
and the people that are taking it for like biohacking is what people would call it, like what you're doing, like taking it to fix yourself instead of to
Mhm.
trip. That's an even smaller market, you know, amongst that market.
Yeah. Most people are just trying to get fucked up.
There's a lot of people, yeah, yeah. I mean, I take mushrooms pretty regularly now. You know,
Mhm.
I think it makes me feel like I'm smarter. I don't know.
Yeah, I've definitely felt that about myself too. And I don't know if like some of it could be like the placebo effect where other people tell you that it makes you smarter, so now you feel like you are a little bit. But to be honest, man, I gotta they did something to me to where like if it didn't make me smarter, it has surely changed my thought method and pathways and stuff to where I've become a better person from it for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I learned how to care about people and like empathize and
Empathy.
sympathize. I
Yeah,
learned that. Like I hadn't had any of that much of it growing up, and then war took all of what I had, and mushrooms gave it back.
yeah, yeah, for sure, dude. I think mushrooms is definitely good for empathy. I think that's probably the biggest thing I feel when I'm on mushrooms. Empathy
Mhm.
and self doubt. A lot of self doubt.
Yeah,
I think
that
about
will
things that I've done,
happen.
and I'm like, oh, why'd I do that? You know?
I always get stuck on my own mortality. Or like
Yeah,
I don't know if I said that right, but like I when I sometimes
when you
I'll get
die.
into like a real like this is all inevitably going to end.
Hmm.
And then I start thinking about how much I love being a dad and how much I love my son and how much I love my girlfriend and when this all ends, what am I going to be feeling? That'll start to fuck with you a little bit.
I think about that sober. Is that not a
Dude,
normal
yeah.
thought?
No, that it's just much more intense for it's not that it's not a normal thought, but it's a much more centralized thought when I'm on them.
Yeah, you feel it more, right? It's like you can feel
Hmm.
the you can physically feel the thought manifesting, I guess is the best way I could put it.
Yeah, and safety becomes a bit like safety, like be safe. Like with my son and everything, like we walk him to school, not walk him like he's a dog, but we walk to school from the little where we park. If I've eaten mushrooms that morning, and we're going by the street, boy, I think every car's jumping the curb. You know, get the fuck over here, bro. Be safe. Hey, like I turn into that guy. I'm safety's a big deal for me when I'm on those.
Yeah, well, because you've seen the, you've been in a country where safety is not a concern,
Yeah, and it's more like I think when you've seen life taken and lost, you respect it a lot more.
Definitely.
Like you just do. Like, not that someone who you don't need to see death to respect life, but it sure helps if that makes any sense.
No, of course, it's our perspective is our perception, right? Or our perception is based off our perspective. I don't know how to word that, but yeah, dude, it's like
Yeah.
I mean, a person that has never gone hungry, it's like they can read a book about poverty, right? But then to experience hunger, that's a different type of drive,
Right. And I also noticed by being in Afghanistan what true poor was. Like I know a lot of people growing up that would say they were poor because they ate ramen. Bro, you ate. You ate, dude. You ain't that poor. They're not eating in Afghanistan. They might eat each other, brother. You know what
Damn,
I mean?
cannibalism.
Well, bro, if there ain't no food around, we are all animals at some point. That instinct might take over, man.
Yeah.
There ain't no cops to make sure you're not.
hmm So, do your doctors at the VA do they know that you're taking mushrooms?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't lie to them, man. As bad as this is gonna sound, I went into the VA one time. They took my blood and came back. I was like, you have cocaine, weed, and alcohol in your system right now. I said, well, yeah, I do.
Can I
I
get
got
that
here, didn't
back?
I?
Can I get
Yeah,
that
I
back?
got
Put
here,
it in.
didn't
Put
I? Is that a
it
record or something?
in.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm not, I don't withhold it from them, but I also am very honest with them about like, there is a sense of, I always tell people mushrooms fuck you up first and then they teach you. There is the euphoric high at first. Music sounds better. Or like, something really good to do on mushrooms is find you a song that you like. And if you can find an a cappella version of it, do it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, like that. There is that euphoric like sensation, but once that's done, man, you're in for a whirlwind of teaching if you just do
That,
it right.
yeah, that's like the healing stage. There's the fun
Mm-hmm.
stage and then like the healing stage.
It's like you're gonna play, but then shit's gonna get serious.
Yeah, after having that conversation I had with Ian McCall, it's like it totally changed the way I verbalize like drug
Mm-hmm.
experiences. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like the way he talks about them, it just comes from like more of a like therapeutic way, like therapeutic perspective. Yeah. So the VA knows you're doing mushrooms. I mean, how do they feel about that? Like, do they tell you to keep doing them, or is it something that they want you to stop?
They honestly take a very like just kind of like okay here. But when I first got into the military, the policy on being straight or gay was don't ask, don't tell. They're kind of just like that with the mushrooms too. You're not out like if I'm not committing crimes or getting like I've been driven to the VA before on a 5150 hold, handcuffed to a bed because I just was having a bad day. If I'm not if I'm not doing that, they're not really worried.
Got you. Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like if I was the U.S. government, that would be an opportunity to study the drug, and how its effect on like veterans and PTSD stuff like that. I feel like it's an opportunity that's being missed.
Yeah, I feel like if a lot of people would try them out, they'd feel the same way.
Yeah,
You just got to get over the hump of being scared to try them out.
yeah, it's scary.
It was for me too. Like I would always my girlfriend, she's a vet tech, and one of the people she used to work with was talking about him and a very smart person himself and like how they could be therapeutic. And I was always like, man, I am pretty fucked up from war. You want to throw shit in there that might do some other shit? I was very against it. Like, let's leave my mental health where it's at, you
hmm
know? And then I finally just was like, you know what, dude? Like, you got to come out of your own sometimes. Like, even if to me it doesn't sound like a good idea, but to people that are smarter than me, that have done like they're not just smarter than me because they said so. These are doctors. They went and they've done the work. And if they think this might be something good, even if I don't, I might try it anyway. And that's how that happened.
I dislike the feeling of my brain melting. You ever been on mushrooms and you just close your eyes because your brain feels like that out of body experience moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
Like I
I
guess
tell people,
like the best way I could describe it is like it's almost like I can see myself. You know what I mean?
yeah, I was all the way there. I was all the way there. I ate like 8 or 9 grams one day like at one time.
Damn, that's
And
crazy. You're crazy, bro.
yeah, I do that all the time. I do that all
Dude,
the time. I guess I shouldn't, but I do.
we
Um,
are not microdosing, bro.
no, 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 no. And on this day, I saw sound, man. But
I saw.
on I you know, I saw sound, but I had the same experience you're talking about. I was on the couch, and I tell my best training partner, I was like, bro, I feel like I died in that moment. Like I was no longer present. Like I don't know what the fuck happened, but I feel like I was so close to death. I don't want to go back. Just hovering over my body in some movie. I kind of get where you're going on that one, man.
Yeah, sometimes like if I'll be tripping too hard and I'll be like, if I don't die, I'm not gonna do this again. That's what I'll be telling myself, bro.
Dude, I've definitely been there. I've definitely been there. And what happens is your tolerance goes up very fast with those things. So if you're gonna do them like days in a row, by day 7 you might need 14.
Oh
You know what I
damn!
mean?
I don't take them like that much or that often. I was doing microdosing for a while, just like a gram, half a gram, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I might have a mushroom problem.
It goes back to what you were talking about earlier. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
obsession.
yeah. Be it good or bad, I am all in, bud.
Yeah. So I mean, do you plan on, I guess, winging off of the other drugs, like the actual drugs that you're getting from the VA, like the antipsychotics and stuff?
I would love to, but there's got to be a process because I'll withdraw without it after this long. Like I might look like I'm kicking in jail or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what happened a little earlier this right in the last year and a half or so, the VA had really messed up and stopped sending me my medication. I hadn't had my medication for like 6 months. And I don't like going to them because they'll make me so mad that I'll just go in there and like I told my girlfriend one time, like, I just vision you parking and me just sprinting in there and fucking it up. So I don't like going in there because of that. And they hadn't sent me my medicine. And man, it was just a total bad. I was so messed up, dude. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Terrible. And um I was withdrawing. So I would love to get off that medication. It's probably gonna be a process that someone's gonna have to not help me with in the sense I won't be able to do it, but I just don't know where to start.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for just stopping the medicine. To be clear, I just was
Mhm.
curious if there's like steps that are being taken for that. I dated this chick, dude. She was on like antidepressants or something. Like she kind of would get suicidal every once in a while. It's just actually funny because when I first met her, she was on her. I don't know what they're called. I'm gonna call them antidepressants, psych medicine, whatever,
Yes.
dude. But she was like well put together, smart. Shit. We'd have
Mhm.
like really like we'd have these deep conversations, right? And so we started dating for a little bit. She decided to stop taking them because when you take those medicines, it's hard to nut. It's like sex doesn't feel like you can't finish. So she decided to stop taking them so she could fuck better, right? And she
Mhm.
didn't say anything. I think if she would have told me, I probably wouldn't have even cared because I don't even understand the gravity of how some people need to take those. Bro,
Right.
it was like a flip switch. So I ended up having to stop talking to her because it just got too bad, bro. Like she got really like weirdly obsessive and like she would have these random outbursts where she would get mad at me and like start yelling at me. And I don't like to argue, bro. So I'll leave the room. I'll like try to go make something to eat or something. She'll follow me to the kitchen, start yelling at me, yell at me. And then when I decide to like tell her that she needs to leave, she'll like be like, "Okay, I'm sorry" or something. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, I cannot fuck with this bitch no more."
Yeah, you're dealing with something that's not your fault, but not taking the medicine is your fault.
That was my fault, bro. That was completely my fault. When I realized it was because she wasn't taking her medicine, I kind of was low key like, "Damn, bro," because I was kind of
Mhm.
like low key telling her like, I don't know if you need to be taking these. I heard a lot of, I
Uh,
mean,
yeah.
I think I left that part out because she seems so good, bro. I thought she was over it. I was like, damn, you got your shit
Right.
together, right? But yeah, bro, I remember one time she brought over a ketamine that was prescribed for her. It's like a pill. I never taken.
Yeah.
It was strong. I don't know. But yeah, Mike,
I've
bro.
heard there's therapy in that too. I've heard like my girlfriend was watching Teen Mom, and that dude Tyler was doing ketamine therapy for whatever happened to him while he was younger. So there's probably something in that too.
Yeah, I probably fucked that up. I probably fucked her up, bro. I feel really bad. That
Mhm.
one, dude.
Hey, it happened. You live and you learn, bro. You feel bad about it. That's what matters. You know.
Dude, I mean, dude. Yeah, then she ended up getting my name tattooed on her and all kinds of shit, bro. It was all bad, bro.
Hey, don't. My ex-wife has my name tattooed on her too, dude.
Yeah. You guys have a kid though. We were
No, no, no,
like,
no. Me and my ex-wife do not have a kid.
oh,
My girlfriend that I'm with now, we have one, but not the ex-wife. Good
yeah.
God, we didn't make a kid.
Yeah. Oh, did you marry her just because of the military or what? Like,
No, I really thought I loved her back then. I
I mean,
did. I did.
did,
Like I know now that I don't, but back then I did think I did.
well, I'm sure you did love her then. You just
Yeah.
didn't love her like how you thought you did?
Well, yeah. For the time being, I think I hadn't figured out who she really was yet. She was selling me an illusion,
Yeah.
and that's what that was.
Was she like into drinking and all that stuff too, partying?
That girl, basically, to put it simply, was into anything that would get her fucked up.
Yeah. Oh,
Like she was, I couldn't get a divorce for the longest times. We just couldn't find her.
oh shit, is
She's
that
off in
bad?
Florida somewhere. Yeah. Well, I mean, not to say Florida's not an easy place to be either, man. Especially not Jacksonville. That is not an easy place to grow up. I mean, being how she ended up from there is almost easier than being normal, or not normal, but like productive. So yeah, that was, yeah. She just, I don't know what she's like now, and I would hope that for the sake of her and her life, she's changed a lot. Like not that I don't ever want nothing to do with her again, but I would hope that as a person, you're not just that still. You know
Gotta
what I
evolve.
mean?
Gotta evolve, you know?
Yeah, it's like when you meet, like when someone is not changed since high school, and this is not like your style, bro. You still wearing the same clothes, that's fine. You're the same exact intellectual, spiritual person. That's sad, and I hope that's not her. You know?
Yeah. That's mushrooms help a lot with that, dude.
hmm
They help like kind of bury the old and allow the new to kind of grow in its place in a sense, you know?
And it showed me that, like, do I don't hate her. I hate what she did, and I do feel strongly that I want absolutely nothing to do with her. But that doesn't mean that I need to like sit here and bang on it. Fuck that bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
okay, bro, like she did that shit to you. She's not doing it now. She's not taking your money now. Like put it like she took all my deployment money from me. You know what I probably would have done when I got back with 30 grand as a 22-year-old alcoholic? Probably would have died. But like the universe has a way of taking care of you. And the day that my son was born, my disability claim went through, and I got $23,000 of back pay.
Damn.
So you know what? She might have took all my deployment money and saved me from dying, and I got it back, and I could buy all the diapers in the world.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's very
You
like
got
it's very Bruce Lee like be like water, you know?
Yeah, he makes that is a very good point. It can crash, it can flow, be water. It's when it needs to crash, it crashes. When it needs to flow, it does. That's why water's here.
That's why water's here, baby. That's why we need it. Um,
hmm
damn. So they gave you. So you said 30 G's and then 23 G's. So 53 G's is what you got out of the military.
Um, well, I'm saying 30 grand would have been like a roundabout what you could have made on deployment, because like our deployment, we got paid a little bit extra for being with the special forces and like imminent danger. There's a lot of extra danger pays and shit that come on, and it's non-taxable while you're there. So you
Oh,
can make it.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
yeah,
taxes,
it's real non.
baby.
Yeah, it's real nice while you're there. So you can come back. Like in theory, if you're a guy in the barracks, which is just like the dorms, you're not paying any bills other than your phone. You don't need a phone in Afghanistan. You come back with about 30 grand. So, and then I got about 23 in back pay. So yeah, probably about 53 in large sums from them.
Yeah. So 53 for your deployment. And then what do you, how much do you think is the overall? I mean, you don't have to give an exact number, but what is the overall amount that you think you got being in the military for those 4 years?
Well, I was able to come in as an E3 instead of an E1. I did a whole bunch of shit at the recruiting office. So that started me out. I think I was making a like 1800 right off the bat. And whatever that, because I made E4, but I wasn't there long. I got in trouble and got demoted. So most of my time was at E3. And so whatever an E3 salary was for about 4 years is what I made.
Do you think that was worth it?
Yeah. I mean, because like, in all honesty, I'm 100% disabled now, and they're still paying my bills. I've been through a lot. I'm fucked up, yes, but I've also not worked since I was 26.
What was the accident that led to your what is the disability besides is PTSD? Is that what we were talking about? Or is there
Yeah,
something else?
most of it's PTSD. My back is just normal wear and tear from being in Afghanistan, and I flipped the truck in Afghanistan pretty good while I
Dang.
was driving. I flipped the truck off of an embankment. Like, cost the army a lot of money that day.
Damn. You're crazy,
Yeah, I
dude.
shoved. We landed. We had a. It was a Crow system, common remote operated weapon system. It's like where I'm in the guy's in the thing, playing with the joystick and the 50 cals on the top shooting people. We had that system up there, and I shoved the barrel of that thing into the receiver.
That shit sounds
Probably
crazy
cost,
though.
I cost the army thousands upon thousands of dollars wrecking that vehicle and that system.
Yeah, I can imagine. Were they happy?
Well, they weren't mad because I didn't. It wasn't a vehicle. It wasn't a driver error. I was driving, and they don't drive very well in Afghanistan. And there was a dude popped out into my lane, and normally I'd have trucked his ass. You know what I mean? But he had a kid in the car. I was like, well, this is not his fault. His dad's a fucking idiot. So I swerved, and there went the truck.
Damn.
You know. Plus,
Yeah.
my my team leader at the time was screaming to go faster than I should have. So I was driving way faster by instruction than I should have.
Hmm.
So if he was gonna yell at me for flipping, I was gonna be like, "Bitch, you told me to go fast."
Yeah. That's
It's kind of
wild.
like we got dirt on each other, so shut the fuck up type of deal.
Taxpayers' dollars right there.
Yeah, man. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. All right, all right. Mike, is there anything you want to add before we end this, dude? Anything you want to plug in? I know you got that your one of your sponsors, your gym, anything, loved
Oh yeah.
ones.
I'd love to mention Waxers again. I am also sponsored out here in Visalia by NutriGuys. It's a supplement shop out here, and man, they have everything you could possibly need to further yourself with fitness, and the prices match their hospitality. They're just a really good company that's not asking too much. You know, you find a lot of people that want the whole pie; they just want their piece. And again, I would really just love to harp on it again how much I love and care for Crew Malapet. Anytime I go there and he says, he like makes a noise of approval, you know how they make, oh, we, that to me is like Malapet, oh, we, me doing something is the equivalent of the Bronze Star, or you know what I mean? So I just want to shout out Crew Malapet again, how much I love that man and thank him for what he's done. My loved ones, I don't talk about it enough, but my girlfriend Julie, you got to find you a partner in life, and if you're gonna find one, by God, I hope it's like her. She's been here for me for 10 years, dealt with all my shit, going 5150 holds, having cocaine in my system when she thought I was just chilling. Um, so shout out Julie as well, man. You got to have you a good partner in life, and I got really blessed with her.
Shout out Julie. Shout out Malapit. Shout out your sponsors, Mike. Well, do we have a fight coming up soon? I know you. I think you're done with Muay Thai, right? But you're still doing Jiu-Jitsu. That's your new thing, I
Yeah,
believe.
I am trying to get on Arte Suave here in March in Visalia. That'll be awesome, and it's not going to be whether they want me on or not. It's just about availability of matches. So if one comes up, I'd like to be on that. Definitely not fighting anymore, but always training, man. And again, like another shout out, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for having this, and thank you for some reason thinking a guy who's a 3-1 amateur was cool enough to have on here, man. I really appreciate you.
Bro, well, I mean, I followed your page, bro. You seem like an interesting dude. I was like, honestly, it's a fight podcast, but I don't care if you have one fight or zero lot wins. It's like if you're an
Mm-hmm.
interesting dude and you like Muay Thai or you like MMA, I'm down to talk with you, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
man. I appreciate that too.
but dude, thank you for everything you've done, dude. Thank you for your service, bro. Thank you for like all the lives you touched as a trainer, as a coach, bro. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Just keep doing your thing, Mike.
Thank you, man. I will keep doing my thing. I'll keep in touch with you as always, man. And if you ever want me to do this again for some reason, I'm down, man.
Dude, love to have you on. Love to have you on. I want to one day do this in person. I have family in Fresno. I think I told you my
Hmm.
homie Scott.
Yeah.
So I go there from time to time. I was actually gonna go there recently on his birthday, but then the plans kind of changed and he
Mhm.
couldn't get a babysitter. So I was kind of like, I'm not gonna drive out there just to sleep and come back, But
Yeah, it makes sense.
but yeah, next time I'm out there, dude, maybe we can meet in person. Maybe have a training session, meet up with Stu, maybe.
Yeah, I have a whole gym here in my garage we could use, man. No worries.
Sick, sick, sick. All right, Mike, I'm gonna. For everyone else, stay cool, stay fresh. I'm not gonna say stay high because we're in recovery. I usually say stay high, but stay doing
Yeah.
Muay Thai.